Welcome to a brand new episode of Undisputed Anime. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the podcast where we love to talk about anime, and you're here, so thank you. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. That'd be really handy. I'm Zane, Taichou, a.k.a. Zane Reed, a.k.a. D-Res Zane, a.k.a. Hashira Zane. Oh, the pause there. As always, I'm joined by my best of friend. He has read over 100 manhwa. He even read one where it had 100 men fight one gorilla, and the art was insane. It's Susude.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at some point.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
By the way, do you not have like a single unified brand? Because you've got a lot of variants.
I know, yeah. I'm kind of like Moon Knight, where, you know, there's a personality for each hobby, you know. So there's D-Res Zane, who's into gaming. There's Hashira Zane, who's into manga, who's getting out of hand, if you couldn't tell by this background. And then there's me, Zane Taichou, who likes anime.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, my daughter is asking me currently what the name of the podcast is. And I'm reticent to give her that information. But should I? No. It's my duty. It's my duty.
Also, the algorithm should do its job.
It should do its job.
It should do its job.
Yeah.
It's
on YouTube. There we go.
How have you been, by the way? It's been a minute.
It's been not great weather-wise for me. Been a bit up and down in terms of heat, and as a result, I had a pretty bad bout of migraines. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh.
So other than that, you know, been all right. No,
yeah,
just keeping to myself. You know, surprisingly watched a lot of anime over late. You know,
hey, this is what we love to hear. But we will get into that. We will divulge.
I hope so. I did my homework this time. How are you, anyway? It's all been about me. What about you?
Oh,
tell me about your interests. Tell me about what you've been up to.
So yeah, it's been busy. A couple of days actually. Been taking the dogs on like these mini getaways, which has been lush. So that's fun. But yeah, I was on the MangaTak podcast recently.
Oh. Oh, good episode, because I too have an upcoming appearance.
Ooh.
So I don't know what order the episodes are going to get put out.
Me neither. So yeah, it'll be interesting. As always, we'll drop a link in the description.
Friend of the show.
Absolutely, yeah. Good cousin. But yeah, it was a great episode. I'm sure they don't mind me spilling the tea, but it was regarding the Hunters Guild Red Riding Hood.
Yes, I know you're a big fan.
Yeah,
like you wanted so bad for it to be like the new hotness, didn't you?
I really did, and we kind of talk about that, and we also talk about. Dare I say, a mini obsession with cancelled manga and collecting them. So yeah, it is a great chat, great episode. Also talks a little bit about the difference between kind of reading it just for, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, even though I like produce this podcast, shits and giggle, versus critiquing like an actual manga. It's very different. Like you may watch a Michael Bay movie just to kind of switch your brain off, but also if you critique it, you know it's like terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to kind of like. I think that when the difference is like just objectivity, isn't it?
Mm.
It's like you can if you are a fan, but you also are reviewing, you've kind of got to like be able to look at it, look past all the good you can find in it, and like kind of like objectively, you know, from the perspective of someone else.
Mm.
So, and I get that. I know that that's why I really like what Matt's doing over there on the MangaTak podcast, to be fair, because you know, I don't think I've for a long time. I don't think I've thought quite as hard about about every element of it. It's usually like I like this thing, and it's not I don't. It's like, but he's he's out there. He's doing the Lord's work.
He really is. He really is. And again, as a manga collector and reader, it kind of makes me reevaluate, like you said, why do I like this? Is it because it's full of muscle mummies, or is it because it's there's actually a charm about this, or is it I just like trash? It does kind of put things into perspectives. So yeah, it's really fun exercise. I'm interested about your episode though. He told me a little bit about it, and I was like, that sounds good.
It's the most slice of life manga I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's so slice of life that I was like, I'm not going to continue reading that. Maybe we'll talk about something else on the episode. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it. So we are doing the episode about it because I don't think it's bad. It was just so slice of life. Watch the episode when it comes out. It's cool. You'll know it. You'll know it because when we talk about it, you'll be like, that is really slice of life.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out more about that one. And also, this might again pull the curtain a little bit back, but I don't know about you, but my wife has got like this weird obsession with books at the moment. This seems to be like a weird little cozy genre of books where it seems to be a story about someone who owns a coffee shop, and it has like some sort of supernatural element about it. So for example, there was one where it was like, it's a coffee shop, but at night spirits come in, and it talks about the spirits' lives and all sorts. And then there's like another one, it's a coffee shop in Tokyo, but cats visit it and stuff. And I'm kind of like, is this like a weird cozy game but for books? Like
what I think that we forget is that the people who are releasing books currently are the same people who were writing fanfics on Tumblr and have of our own. So, so that's when I heard you saying that, I was like, this is absolutely something that anyone could have like just read on Tumblr like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's like it'll be told from the perspective of the reader. You know what I mean? It'll be like first person. It'll be like, oh, and then the handsome yokai came in. He put one hand on my shoulder and looked deep into my eyes. You know, like that. Write this down. Write this down, please. Write this down. Cool. Thank you.
Lush.
Yeah, just get my assistant to write down. So.
No, I like that. No, that's really cool. Today, though, we thought it would be a good idea to kind of... There's this weird energy at the moment in the anime space, and you might be aware of it, you may not be aware of it, but there is a lot of talk about Donghuas, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I've never actually heard it said.
So these are Chinese-style animation shows, anime, if you want to call it that. Now, we've kind of talked about it in passing over this season, because at the moment, this season, there has been a lot more interest in it. There's been a lot more great shows, and we decided to take the time to watch some of the more popular ones and give you our thoughts, our impressions and things. So that is the topic of today's show, but I want to remind you that Undisputed Anime Podcast is listened to around the world. We are looking to make this the greatest anime podcast, but we need that with your support. So be sure to like, subscribe, leave a star rating on your favorite podcast platform, and leave reviews and comments and stuff, because it helps out in a big bad way.
Currently, the biggest and most popular anime podcast in deepest, darkest Peru, I'm led to believe.
No way.
I know, those bears. It's the bears.
Paddington.
Paddington. Shout out to Paddington.
Shout out to the jam boy, Paddington.
Yes. He's the real OG.
Salut.
First subscriber that there was. Of course I jest, because bears don't watch anime yet.
Yet. That is a great point. That is a great
help
point.
help us manifest being the number one anime podcast in deepest darkest Peru.
Today is brought to you by Surfshock VPN, but you'll find out more about that later. And of course, by you at home. So, today, as we rightly said, Chinese anime. So today, what's been your experience up to this point of Chinese anime?
So, really, my first foray into it was To Be Hero X.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like not like. I just feel like Donghua and like Chinese produced like anime.
Mm-hmm.
They've clearly been around, but they've never found it into kind of like my sightlines.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in this place where like it feels like they've come out of nowhere and they're like churning out like bangers.
Yeah.
And it's like it's great because like, you know, you've got your manga, you've got your manhwa, and you've got your danhua, and it's like they're all, even though they're like, you know, similar mediums of telling stories, it's like they're all pretty distinct from one another, and they've got their own tropes and like themes. And to be fair, from what I've seen, like the crazy thing is that for me at least, danhua and these Chinese produced titles have come out of nowhere for me, and they're all exceptionally good in terms of like the quality.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's like there's I've not, like, I'll admit I've not watched all the episodes of one of the things we're going to discuss today. In fact, two of them actually. But like what I've seen so far has just been like I had to stop what I was doing to watch it.
Yeah, it's really bizarre because it's kind of like, for me, in reflection and preparing for this episode, I was kind of like, I've watched some stuff. So, for example, I know there's kind of like a weird Batman. I don't even know what it's called. It's not Ninja Batman, but there's this like 6-minute animation you could watch on YouTube, and it's kind of like this amazing style and animation, and it's all completely Chinese animation style Batman thing. And I thought, this is incredible. I'd love to see, and it kind of sparked the idea, what if there was a Batman anime and it looked like this? But the two other things I had seen before this season were, there's the Immortal King, which I believe is on Netflix, and I watched a handful of episodes of that, but the power system I really struggled to get my head around because it had all these different elements and stuff. The other thing I had watched was about 2 or 3 years ago. I watched the first season of Link Click, and that I was like, oh wow, this is really fantastic. And it had like this amazing sort of modern feel about it, but also, again, and this will be the running theme through all of these, such crisp animation and such dynamic use of camera angles, even just general chit-chatting and stuff. Incredible little series. I didn't finish it because I think I was watching it on a flight. I had like I watched a couple of episodes sort of thing, and then I think I watched Gundam. But
this
yeah,
is when you on one of your frequent transatlantic flights and meet like millionaire donors.
maybe but yeah, again, blown away by it. And if anything, the reason I haven't gone back to it is because I knew there was going to be a dub version, and that's what I've kind of been waiting for, is for the dub to be finished, which I believe it's up to date to season 3. So yeah, more than happy to sit down and watch all of it. But this season, like you said, To Be Hero X, Supercube, and the Devouring All Whale.
Yeah, the All Devouring Whale is
All Devouring Whale,
I believe.
Yeah. So those are the 3 that has really captured the community at the moment, and they've been the hot topic. Of course, you've heard in previous episodes us talk about To Be Hero X. But Supercube and All Devouring Whale, again, just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and like I said, I did my homework for this episode, so prior to this, I have actually consumed the media, and I came away from it like I've got to continue, I've got to keep up with this, because honestly, to link it elsewhere, like I don't read. Well, I've always just considered it to be like manhwa, but now that I'm thinking about it, there are quite a few what I have considered manhwa on the manhwa site I use, which actually would probably be more considered danhwa. They're definitely originally written in like Korean, but like they're stories that are being told about these like kind of empire, like Chinese, like kind of settings and stuff, like with like cultivation techniques and stuff. Like it's all very much like outside of the usual cultural scope. So
yeah, there's so many different threads to this, right? Like there's so many different versions and iterations. Like another thing that came to mind is, do you remember when there was the Olympics in China, and there was like this mini promo trailer which was Monkey's Journey to the West, but it was animated and it was done in the style of Gorillaz, the band, and I was enamored with that for a minute, even though they were like 60 or 30-second promos. They were like gorgeous to watch.
It was such a good use of their own culture and like mythos, because like the Journey to the West is an iconic like story, and to use it for the Olympics was incredibly smart. Yeah,
it was so good. And again, using that sort of guerrilla style is kind of like, hey, it catches your eyes, because again, early 2000 kids, if you heard like Gorillaz or saw Gorillaz, you were like, oh, I want to see more of it. That kind of grabs you, doesn't it? Really, really cool. Where do you want to start in terms of what we watched?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead straight away and just let's just get like, because we've talked about it a lot already. Let's talk about To Be Hero X, just because we have talked about it so much already. Just because it's been very consistently good.
Yeah.
The story is it started going down an unexpected route.
Yeah.
Because obviously at the end of the last episode, we had been talking about that cliffhanger.
Yes.
And boy, were we left with a cliffhanger, because the story's gone in a completely different direction, following a completely different character at the moment.
Yeah. Hand on heart, I haven't seen last week's episode, so I'm still on that cliffhanger. But to this point, is that episode 6, 7? It's been about 6 weeks, right?
I think it'll be episode 6 today. But I can confirm that just now, actually. But but great. It's like it took me a moment to get into the following episode, following the cliffhanger. But I'm still really invested in it. It's just like, I think the pace slowed down.
Yeah. Like
it went from being like, the scale of which things were happening went from like up here to like right down here. But it's like that. It's like, it feels like it started up here and it's moved downwards to here, with the character growing and accepting him as himself. Yeah. Whereas this other character is kind of like, it's starting down here and it's kind of like building up, and I feel like the stories are going to meet in the middle. I like that. Yeah. I guess it's because we're switching MCs almost. Like we're switching. There's this kind of mini arc that we've been on already, and it's kind of starting another new mini arc.
overall, as a overall series package, after 6 episodes, I am mesmerized again by the quality, and again the shift from different types of animation, not just different styles, but different types of animation is just breathtaking. It really is.
Chef's kiss.
And I don't know, I've heard different things because one of the conversations in the community is how can they afford these high budget scale episodes with the same level of quality week to week. And I've heard various things. I don't know if any of them are true or not, from funding to all sorts, really.
I think that there's gonna be a lot of hearsay, I guess, about it, because like without actually, like, I mean, if you did the research, I'm sure you could find it out. But Chinese companies are notoriously like very tight-lipped, and let's not turn this into like a show about like politics or anything like that. But it's like
No.
obviously, in China the rules are different. And stuff concerning like pay and stuff. So workers' rights are very different. But let's not go into that right now.
Yeah.
But those are, I imagine, are parts of the conversations and speculations that people are having.
Definitely. But yeah, it's again. Please do not sleep on this. I doubt you will if you're into the anime community and thinking what is hot right now. It is probably the hottest show going at the moment. But yeah, from week to week, I'm blown away by it. It feels like a mini movie in some ways. So yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with To Be Hero X?
We're obviously just going to continue talking about it episode over episode. So I don't think there's really any need for us to continue going into it. I can't talk highly enough about it. So I think maybe we should give the floor to something else.
I'm going to touch on Supercube now, because out of the 3, although they're all doing phenomenal stuff, this is probably the one. How do I say this without it sounding terrible? If there was a pecking order of what I watch week to week, it'd probably go To Be Hero X, All Devouring Whale, and then Supercube. Just because those 2 stories are really pulling me in at the moment. Supercube is a good story, and it is really fun. But I guess it feels adjacent to other things that I've seen before. Like high school drama, random superpowers.
It does. Like I've only watched 1 episode of it, and the first episode is obviously like a set piece. It really like goes hard in that first episode. But I know from hearing conversations between you and someone else that like the episodes like kind of slow down. It feels like it spikes every couple of episodes. And from what I've seen of the preview of the next episode, is like it very much seems like it's following a very similar like kind of like hero trope of like manhwa, where it's like a character has gained an ability and is like episode on episode now. It's like, how do I get stronger? And it looks like this is completely like based on assumptions. It looks like it's possibly going to be in one of those like kind of like, it's not like kind of a tournament sort of thing, but it's like every single episode there's a new enemy to defeat, and he gets stronger by beating each episode. You know what I mean? Like beating each enemy. Yeah,
like a villain of the week sort of energy.
But not to say that that's bad. I've not seen that in a while, actually, to be fair. Like, so it's actually not, I'm not tired of seeing it. It's just, one of those things. Like, I think I agree with you. Is like, I think that the story being told in this is a little less interesting to me, but probably because I've seen it so many times in the past.
Yeah. It's, if I was hilarious, I would probably say, to me, it's kind of like, if you've never seen it before, it's like a weird Medabots had a baby with Solo Leveling.
Yes, what a great example.
I was trying to think last night. I was like, this feels so much like other things, but how sort of thing. Yeah, it's probably somewhere along those lines. And the only reason I say Medabots is because Icky found B's medal in a river. Our boy found the super cube.
The super cube
in a river.
Wait, isn't that the name of the anime? They said it. They've already said it. It's like...
Roll credits.
Yes.
So yeah. I'm having fun with it, and it's cool. Again, seeing a new type of power system, and like you said, seeing this what is kind of a weak MC get stronger week on week, and all that jazz.
We've displayed time and time again that we love that, because that's why most shonen titles, most manhwa get popular, is because people have a character who they can like kind of implant themselves on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it's like, you're following the journey of this person who could have started off as you. It's like the power fantasy of it is like, what if this happened to me? What if this happened to me?
Yeah. What if I was lucky enough to find a cube in a river?
Yeah. Great, though. It's like a great animation, great story from what I've seen so far. Really intrigued. Like you said, power system looks good. I am going to keep up with it. I just need to find a better place to watch it, because only the first episode is free on YouTube. So and I couldn't find it anywhere else. So
yeah, it's a tricky one, and the same with a lot of Donghua. From my understanding, it's tricky to try and find some of it. It's either YouTube or some of these other adjacent type streaming platforms. Yeah. So but yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I like it. All devouring whale though.
Oh my gosh. What? I've only watched episode 1.
Okay.
One episode though. Like, honestly, great setup. I love that it's already like kind of set itself apart by it's got a very unique art style of its own. And maybe it's not so much the art style is unique, it's the way in which the color's been used.
Interesting.
And stuff like, because the actual character design is not much different to a lot of stuff that I've seen. It's the way that they've used color. They've kind of like used the much like more muted kind of like tones. They've made it look like it's not quite
washed out.
Yeah, made it look a bit washed out, like it's done in watercolor or like inks, and love it. Like, and it also feels like they're putting so many frames into each seconds as well. It's so smooth.
For anyone who hasn't seen or watched it yet, what would you say the story is?
The story starts off and you're like, oh, wow, is this Spirit Pokemon? Or Spirit Digimon? Like Spirit Monster Capture sort of thing. Like you're introduced to a world where everyone has like these spirit companions or is able to obtain these spirit companions. It's a world that it seems to be rooted like in like kind of Chinese like myth tropes and stuff. Great, like you see those like kind of vistas which are like the low cloud, like low thick rolling cloud, but you see these like really high narrow like mountain like
valleys,
trees and stuff. Yeah, it's like, like it's very like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that kind of sort of like setting. But then it becomes a reincarnation story.
Yeah.
It's stuff like in literally like the first 15 minutes of the episode, it's like you're like, am I following this character? And it's like, no, I am following this character, but it's not this character anymore. So I was not expecting it to go how it went. Like, it started off so big, and as like a setting up, and then it's like, let's take it all the way back now. we're gonna take him back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're gonna work up to the top now.
Yeah, I really like that. I think from a story point of view, and I guess this is what Supercube tried to do, is kind of like, look at this incredible Supercube person, and then kind of like subtracts that back to someone who's starting out sort of thing. But I feel like this does it 10 times better. Of course, they use the kind of reincarnation trope, but to see like, because they're kind of clan battles, aren't they? And it's all about trying to get the clan into like the highest position.
Yeah.
And for him to have like this magnificent Pokemon style battle with a whale versus like a giant gorilla in the sky and everything else. And then it kind of snaps and takes it all the way back, and he has to kind of rebuild not only his clan or his school, whatever it is, but also we're now on this journey where he doesn't have the magnificent spirit beast. He has a Poochie and a little cacti.
Yeah, a little cacti and a tiny little fish.
Yeah. But I really liked it. And if a gym bro came up to me and was like, what's this all devouring? What is it like?
It sounds metal as hell.
Oh, yeah. How have I seen anything like it before? Again, if I was being hilarious, I'd probably say it's kind of like a weird cross between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Pokemon. It's
yes.
That's probably like the easiest way to explain it to someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fantastic.
That fish literally ate that snake.
Yeah.
And it was so smooth. went down real nice.
It really did. I thought it was weird that they reincarnated the MC into a body that was older. It wasn't like he started off as a newborn and has to learn magic, and he's like a teenager, if you know what I mean.
So it was like I think the way that the scroll worked was like you will be 1 year after your death, you'll be reincarnated into the body of someone who has recently died. But in reincarnating as them, like you will mitigate the death. Like you'll overcome the death.
I see. Because I was kind of like, this feels like a bit quantum leapy that, you know, this person he's reincarnated into has had interaction with people and people recognize him and stuff. Yeah. But he's kind of like,
I don't know who these people are. It's like, what the hell did this guy do before I got here? But yeah, it's like I think I think a lot of stories that we see these days are often if there's a reincarnation story or an isekai, you're reborn usually as someone who's just born into the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very often you see a story where it's like you take over the life of someone who is already like older. It's like there's a couple of manhwa that I've been reading which do follow that kind of trope. They do have like someone who's like takes over the body of someone who has recently passed or was destined to pass,
right,
and stuff. And like I've really enjoyed those stories because it's like I think that when you throw a different character into a different body, like a Freaky Friday situation, they've got to kind of like them be like they can't just like kind of naturally integrate into the world. They've got to very quickly like navigate. Who is this person? Who does he know?
Yeah.
I can't let people know that I'm not that person anymore because they'll think I'm crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't want to get into too many spoilers because I really want people to check this out. But episode 2 kind of crosses that bridge of him interacting more and more with people who recognize him, but also he recognizes people from his previous life, and he's like, oh, I can't talk to them the same way or approach them the same way because I'm someone else now. Yeah. It's kind of like, I love the kind of weird identity crisis with that. It doesn't get to that stage, but do you know what I mean? It's kind of, like you said, they have to approach things in a different way than they would do normally, comfortably, etc.
The stories like that are good, and then like often like I said, I'm reading a couple of stories like this already, but it's like you'll often get to a place in stories like that where it's like the line starts to blur, and they're like, where does this character end and where do I begin? It's like often you find that they start to like kind of blur together.
Yeah.
It's like they start to like, fully integrate.
Yeah. A bit like Superior Spider-Man for any comic book readers out there.
Great route to go with a Spider-Man story, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And arguably, he came out being one of the most successful at his job Spider-Man.
That's the hilarious part of it, isn't it?
He went on to be like so good, like use like
so efficient Spider-Man.
Peter Parker, Miles Morales, great Spider-Man. They've got all that. They're witty. They get the job done. But body swap someone. Body swap someone who is got a different mindset into someone with that power set, and he's a Superior Spider-Man is very work smarter, not harder kind of Spider-Man, isn't he?
This is it. Yeah, this is it. So yeah, really, really cool. I watched episode 2, which was fantastic and moved me in a way I wasn't expecting. So yeah, I really like. Again, it's weird. Even though this isn't the first thing to introduce pocket monsters or spirit monsters and stuff, the way they use them is really fun. And I guess normally with shows like this, it would leave a lot of room for the monsters to show their personalities, and they're a character just as much as any other character. But in this, I feel like they limit that as much as possible so that they're not the show, if that makes sense.
I'm also a huge fan, and this is another like trope that gets followed a lot these days. But I love it when you have a character who is reincarnated into a new world and stuff like that, and they are the tool set that they're reincarnated with is considered subpar in terms of the world. So it's like obviously he wakes up in this new body, he realizes he can still like summon, but he's like what he can summon is like this tiny little like Pomeranian dog and this like vine cactus thing that looks hilarious. But like the characteristic is like his control of them is so good that he takes them from like being like F tier to like C tier.
Yeah.
And stuff. And you see him use them in like really clever ways. And obviously it's pointed out in the first episode that like that he's able to control 2 of them with such precision. And like we get to see him like using the Sharingan, like doing the Sasuke eyes looking all over the place.
Yeah.
With Sharingan thing. Like watching both of these creatures. But I just love how creatively he used them.
Yeah.
Stuff. I thought it was really good. And I that vine cactus thing really grew on me. I think it's such a because it's got no voice.
Yeah.
It's got like, so much like emotion in its face.
Yeah. It feels like it's a menace, like when it's let loose. And then like you said, the dog has like the speed blitz of the best Pokemon episodes.
I was just thinking that cactus I'm actually now thinking of is like he's vegan Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. If Mike Wazowski had that dog in him.
Yeah, but it's like even like the way that like he like towards the end of the episode he obviously escaped using him, and he summoned him and he used him to like Spider-Man. That's like this podcast is always going to lead back to Spider-Man, I think.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man's the best reference.
Yeah, Spider-Man is just so relatable. What a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited for you to check out episode 2.
I'm excited as well.
Because there's a lot there. Even though it's kind of, again, it's not a high-end level, I would say, like episode 1, but it still does a lot of character work with episode 2, which is really cool. Yeah. Ooh.
I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I would continue to watch for the art style alone. Even like so like obviously that first fight was a set piece, but it's like the extra steps that they took in it is like when he like first summons like the whale and like the water droplets fall down, but then the water droplets turn into tiny little like
that was really cool.
Like that. It's like it's beautiful. Like it's like that's like Ghibli like level of magic. You know what I mean?
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, that is so a great
captivating.
Point.
Like to look at. So I'm just mega impressed by it.
Yeah, it's. Ooh. What was I just thinking of? There was something else that you just reminded me. There's a flashback scene where you discover his whole clan / family perished in a fire, and that's all animated through, like you said, what feels like hand-drawn water paintings and stuff. Yeah. And that's really impactful because it uses like the white space so much to kind of show him being on his own sort of thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm super psyched that like we're finally getting to like enjoy this, because I think that manga and anime has been great, but it's very much dominated the kind of like environment in terms of like Eastern media. Yeah, and you know there are a lot of talented like people out there in the world. And, you know, shouldn't just be consuming everything from one place, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think that, you know, in recent years, I'm not going to name any names. I feel like through anime, at the very least, there has been some areas where they've kind of gotten complacent. And we've ended up with things like PNG Lock. And we've ended up with things like I said I wasn't going to name any names, and we've ended up with like the beginning after the end, where it's like, you know, these studios have either gotten complacent or they've knowingly put out a bad product. Whereas, like, I feel like, you know, having more media coming out of like South Korea, having more media coming out of China that is like of this quality will push like the anime space to be better. Because they're not the only version of that anymore.
That's very true. That is very true. It's funny you should mention T-Bait, because there has been a little bit of speculation, and I don't know if it's an area, a rabbit hole to kind of go down, but there's been like a lot of kind of conspiracy theories that maybe Japanese studios don't animate these manhwas adaptations as good as they could be, sort of thing. And then that kind of conversation can turn to be like, well, here's Chinese stories that are animated by Chinese studios. Does that need to happen for manhwa going forward? You know, because things like Tower of God, God of High School, there's a few sort of manhwas that just haven't had the same success as Solo Leveling that should have, really. Yeah. So it's kind of like, do they need to be animated by Korean studios going forward?
What I would say, and this isn't like an argument for or against anything, but it's just a point to make, is I find that manhwa that gets popular enough to get an anime often suffers from being incredibly long. Like Tower of God, I started reading it and I haven't finished it. It was so long, and I feel like that's a lot to take on for an anime studio to not know that it's gonna be good or not. Because often we have seen in anime that, like, you know, season 1 will be good, but season 2 is like then way good. Yeah. And stuff. And I feel like a lot of studios like, do they consider it gambling because they don't know if it's gonna get popular? Like Solo Leveling is obviously an outlier here. But then we saw it here. Solo Leveling had a pretty good first season, but then it had an exceptionally good second season because it was able to hit the ground running. So it's kind of like, in the same vein of like, is there like there's some conspiracy that like Japanese studios just don't want to be like animating like Korean or Chinese products, or is it because they just don't want to take the risk of it, because every year it gets more and more expensive to do these things. And every year the consumer becomes more and more critical and more, I think people just have become more aware of the value of their own time. And as a result of that, people are less inclined to give time to things that are good right away. Because, there's a lot of different media vying for our attention these days. It's like we get this a lot in video games. And stuff. It's like, why should I play that video game when this video game's already doing it already? So it's got especially because it's like so expensive to buy stuff. It's like, why should I spend my money on your products when this one is doing it better? So
absolutely,
beautiful.
There's so many other elements to think about with it as well, because things like Toei have just announced that they may explore AI options. There's things like, is it because Japanese studios are able to get access to manga sales numbers, may not be able to get the same level of information from a webtoon or from Korean published, facts and figures. There could be all sorts that we're just not considered or know of, sort of thing. So it could be numerous different elements, but it's, as you said, for an industry that's constantly evolving and changing with the times and everything else. I probably would like to see more Korean studios. Like, I think of Studio Mura, who have done a lot of stuff for Netflix in the past, and I think they did the Korra stuff as well, who are based out of Korea.
So we see more stuff in-house, is what you're saying?
I kind of, if this is a way to foster more studios, so that way it's not just kind of, it has to be a Japanese studio. I diversifying, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I think
diversity is good in spaces like that, and I do agree. I think that even if only a few studios came from a resurgence of that, it's like at the very least, I think that there should be more collaboration between studios and stuff. Like, it doesn't always have to be like, because we see this all the time in like
Spy Family,
Western media, just generally. I was going to say is like there's always collaboration between like studios and stuff.
It definitely exists, because Spy Family was a collaboration of WIT and Cloverworks, wasn't it? So, and we've seen it with Gundam recently, Sunrise and Kaha, who did Eva. So, it's, again, speculation window. Not much more we could say about it. We can't change the industry, but if you can. You can by subscribing to the channel, believe it or not. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. What do you think? What do you think about the industry? What do you think of these Chinese style animes? Are any of these your favorites? Are you going to check out Lord of Mysteries? We didn't even, it's not much to say because there's only a trailer, but Lord of Mysteries will be out in the near future. And again, that seems to be another hot one on a lot of people's radars.
Do you want to watch the trailer just now?
Nah, we're getting close to time.
Fair.
But if you want us to watch the trailer, more than happy to do that. Again, leave comments, like, subscribe. Susude, any final words, any thoughts?
If you want us to do an episode where we just review trailers, tell us what trailers to watch. Tell us what upcoming anime are coming out, and we will watch the trailers and give our thoughts. Also, it's getting really hot, guys. Take care of your skin. Wear suntan lotion, even on a cloudy day.
It's good for your skin, believe it or not.
When you get older, you will regret not taking good care of your skin.
Not like us though, because we're still young.
So young and so been blessed with exceptionally clear and beautiful skin. No ashy elbows or knees or anything.
Never.
I'm
Not
gonna
when
go cry now.
not when there's cocoa butter around at any given point.
Ah, yes. Manna.
But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure again to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, which is listened to around the world. Be sure to submit thoughts and questions as well. More than happy to read them out on the show, and that way you're part of the show forever. So yeah, feel free to do so. Our email address is in the description as well. And yeah, we shall see you on the next one. Peace.